In this video, I'm going to introduce the real-time data exchange within WSX. So the real-time data exchange is something that field engineers are going to use to push all of their survey and daily reporting data back to the server, which gives all of the coordinators, well planners, managers, any office personnel will then be able to have access to the data anytime that it's pushed back. So we're going to start off in a situation where in most instances, the data will have been fetched from the server originally down onto the local machine. So at this point, the directional driller is now in a position where they can start filling in surveys, they can start putting all their daily reporting together. And at this point, you're going to want to start the real-time data exchange. So the real-time data exchange is accessed via the Home tab and via the data exchange section here where we're going to hit this push option. That's now going to open up the data exchange dialog. So within here, we are going to have a list of any wells that we have within our database tree that have a status associated with them. Now that status can be anything from active, standby, upcoming, to complete, end of well report sent, etc. Now the reality is that in the field, your databases are going to be a lot smaller than the ones in the office and on the server. So you should probably only have at most a few in here, and they're all mostly going to be active, standby, and upcoming. So the first thing that you need to understand is we need to find the well in question that we want to send data back to. Now you notice that we don't have anything open up within here, so we don't have any surveys or anything. That's okay. Well, we can come down, find the well in question, and we hit the select option within here. So we've already got this particular one selected. And the first thing that we want to take a little look at is down on the bottom right hand side of the dialog. We have got 4 boxes here that are going to either come up with an OK and they're going to be green, or they're going to come up with an issue and they're going to be red. So internet connection is pretty straightforward. If you don't have an internet connection, you can't push anything to the server. ICDS online is something that is just checked in the background as long as you have internet connection, and this just makes sure that the infrastructure that is in place to handle all of these transfers is up and running. So this is again up in the cloud, and in our case we're all good. Is the well on the server? So imagine we are pushing our data back. We need to understand where that data is going. So it's very important that our database structure and our naming conventions stay exactly the same on the server as they are in the field. So as an example, when we pull our data down from the data fetch, everything is identical. That is perfect. If for any reason you decide to make a change in here and we change the name of the well, for example, or we adjust the name of the actual well, what will happen is as data is being pushed back, it's received on the server end and it will say, okay, we've got this operator, we've got this field, we've got this facility. Hang on a minute, we don't have this well in here, because it doesn't understand that we've slightly made an adjustment to this. It's just looking for this location. So it's very important that when you fetch the data from the server, that you don't then change any naming conventions in here without speaking to the office first and making sure that they do the same on their end. So if this bit here is not flagging as being okay, then it's because there is a problem with the naming conventions here within the database tree compared to what there is on the server. And the other thing to consider is the fact that your well may not even be on the server. So it could be a naming convention, or it could just be the fact that your well is not even on there. That's something you've then got to contact the office about. Well status on the server. So again, there are quite a few different statuses that you can select for the well, and they're all available via the job data section. Now, active, standby, and upcoming. So here's our different options that are available. Active, standby, and upcoming are the only 3 well statuses that will allow us to push data. And these have to be the statuses that we have on our local machine, but they also have to be the statuses on the server as well. So even although I've got active selected here, if this well on the server has got complete, for example, this is going to flag up and it will not allow me to push the data. So in that scenario, you have to contact the office and double check what the status is on the server. So this is a really, really useful little tool to make sure that everything's set up. And if it's not set up correctly, you will get a flag and it will point you in the direction of where the issue is. So the next thing to look at here is the select data section. So we have the ability here to select these checkboxes, check for new plans, push principal plan, and daily reports. So anytime we go to push the data, there is a check done in the background to begin with to check to see whether or not there are any new plans available or whether or not the principal plan that we have is the same as the principal plan on the server. And that's what these checkboxes do. And if any of these things are positive, there will be a pop-up dialog to tell us that there is a new plan available, for example. And I'll show you what that looks like in a second. Daily reports, this is telling us that we want to push our daily report information. If this is unchecked, the only thing that we will push would be the survey data. So this should really be checked all the time. Down here, we can check the network latency. So that just lets us know what kind of connection we've got. Sync rig and personnel names. So when you're filling in your daily reporting information, we have got drop downs available for our rigs and for our personnel. So here, for example, in the job data section, we've got this drop down. This drop down is fed from this rig names table and the personnel names table within the admin section. When you do a data fetch, it will pull the information for these two tables from the server. So you should have exactly the same information as there is in the server. But in the scenario where something's missing, you let the office know, they update the server, you can come in here and you can just select this option, sync rig personnel and names. And if I do, it comes up and it pulls this down. So that then brings this in line and we'll then see the missing rig or the missing personnel in the drop-down menus. Check for new plans. So again, if I just click on this option, this is now looking through here and it is checking for a new plan. So new plan is available. Tells us what the name of the different plans are. So there's actually several plans available. Now this is just a pop-up warning. And if we go down to here and click on notifications, we can see that there's a notification in here as well. Now, if we want to get any of these plans, all that we would do is you would come to the data fetch and you would just fetch that plan down. So this is just a wee warning for us. We come down to our ICDS server section. This should be greyed out. So this will have an ICDS server and a port number in here. As a user, you should not be able to adjust this at all. And the last thing in here is our data transfer. So this is where we can select our update rate. So let's just say we select 15 minutes, for example. I can now hit start and we can see that the data exchange has started. Time until next update is counting down here, and down the bottom here, I can see my time till the next update. With this now running, I can close this dialog and this will continue to count down until it gets to 0. When it gets to 0, it's going to push my survey data and all of my daily reporting data back to the server. The clock's then going to reset at 15 and it's going to start counting down. As long as WellSeeker's open and as long as I have an internet connection, this will continue the whole time I'm in here. At any time, I can come back in and I can stop it. So it's now stopped. I can see that the data exchange is off. I can restart it again if I want to. And even if I have got my time set to 15 minutes, so it's going to be another 15 minutes until I have a data push. If something comes in, if there's a survey comes in and I decide that I want to just get that pushed up to the server immediately, within here I can come and I can select this manual push option. And if you select manual push, what's going to happen is it's going to go through the process here of pulling everything together. It will tell you that the transmission started, and once it's finished, it will tell you that the transmission has been successful. In that instance, it also checks for plans, and it will tell you again here that there are new plans available. So this is an example, and this is exactly the same as what you would see when this gets to 0. It will go through exactly the same process as the manual push. But in this case, it is automated, and most of the time, this data exchange will be closed. You do not need to have this open. So that is a quick introduction to the real-time data exchange. Like I said, the first step would be to fetch your data. Once you have your data fetched and you start to fill in any part of your daily reporting, you can come in here, you can either do manual pushes or you can set this up on a timer for whatever time interval works, and your data will then push automatically back to the server every time it gets to 0.